right. My name is Philippe, managing partner at Henley & Partners based in Dubai. Today, I'm supported by my colleague Tess and Ryan, who joins us in the very early morning hours in Canada, in fact, because we're here today to talk about the beautiful, not small, the big, beautiful Canada and its opportunities it has, particularly when it comes to business incorporation and education. So we thought it would be good to come together and give you some latest insights, information, and knowledge that is maybe relevant for all of you who are considering to, in some way or the other, build a foot in Canada. The agenda of today is pretty straightforward. I'll give a quick synopsis about our firm. We will talk about why residence, which this option here is about, really matters. Then we go a bit more deeper into details with Ryan, who will talk about the process, the criteria, eligibility, etc. And we also talk about, again, the details. As always, the devil is in the detail. And then Tess will give us an update about why Canada is actually a tier 1 education jurisdiction as well. And if you think about that, it's quite interesting. If you can put both into one bag, you walk out with a double benefit. So before we maybe go into the corporate side of things, a few elements that actually I was surprised to learn about what Canada is all about. It has the longest coastline in the world. I'm sure all of you will be surprised to know that actually Canada, or Canadian, has invented the basketball. Not sure whether the Canadians are good at it, but Superman was created by a Canadian. And quite funny, a little bit of a pub quiz. Santa Claus is officially a Canadian citizen. So I thought, I warm up the room a little bit with these things because that's very, very, very interesting. About Henley & Partners, we are an institution in the field of investment migration. We are doing our practices since more than 25 years, have a global platform with 60 plus offices around the world, and therefore are highly skilled, educated, talented, and regulated to submit applications in residence and or even citizenship by investment jurisdictions. We have advised, as you can see, more than 25,000 clients. So we pretty know very inside out what it takes to make applications in the field of residence and or citizenship successful. We also added additional services. Some of them are related to education, and that's the reason why we want to talk to you about, because Canada has just more to offer than a beautiful coastline and a great hockey nation. Here you see the footprint of the firm, and when I say global, we really mean global. Our clients are interested in global solutions. We live in quite uncertain times. And uncertainty can mostly only be managed by putting some certainty or complexity around your estate, your family future. And in whatever you are interested in, North America or Asia or the Middle East, Henley & Partners will be your go-to firm to support you in that regard. Now, residence, establishing a residence abroad, how can that actually change your life? What are the key benefits of it? And I want to highlight something here first, is that actually the residence by investment term is something that we as Henley & Partners have introduced. And you can see probably in the news, in fact, there was an announcement last week in a very popular office where Gold Card was a bit of mentioned. The idea that countries, governments, jurisdictions want to attract not only private capital, but also private wealth is something that is rising a lot in these days, because it's a tool for these markets, for these countries, jurisdictions to increase their capital inflow and decrease their debt burden. And obviously, there's strong theory around the fact that if a successful entrepreneur, which we're going to talk about later here for Canada, or a high net worth individual sets up shop in the country, it stimulates the economy furthermore. So what does it do? Residence by investment. What are the maybe 4 key brackets that I can think of? Number 1, it increases your quality of life. It will increase, probably most likely, security. It might have positive benefits on your overall tax structures. But in this particular case here, which Tess is going to talk about later, it will also give you access to maybe education of world-class nature and education that you are unable to access in the country that you're in right now. So what we see residence is actually an opportunity booster. And I encourage you to go on our website. We just launched this new index this week where you can compare certain countries against each other on how actually the opportunity benefit, the opportunity premium will rise, and how you compare. I took the liberty to, because we are broadcasting here out of the Middle East, I took the opportunity to highlight a few countries and benchmarking them against, guess what, Canada. And then you can see that across very important brackets, very important KPIs, Canada really leads the game against China, India, Russia, Egypt, Morocco, and beautiful Pakistan. And just to also highlight here, earning potential, business activity, and again, education access, education quality. That's something where we think if someone wants to choose a residence jurisdiction, that is something to be considered. Now, how do we get there? I mean, it's a great speech, Philippe. Canada, has multiple options. Today, we would like to talk about this sort of called startup visa. But let me, take you back a little bit. Why does it matter? As we know, Canada is the second largest country in the world, which is still astonishing, has quite a smaller population in that context. And we know that the leadership in Canada is aiming to increase its population, i.e. therefore also increase its economic power. And therefore, certain measures and initiatives are very well supported and enacted that allow people like yourself to come into Canada and create economic value and walk out. Hopefully, Tess will talk about this with a degree as well. Now, key benefits, of course, high standard of living, education I talked enough about. You do have healthcare. Ryan will talk about that. It's a very tolerant country. We all know the Canadians, Ryan, I'm sorry. They always apologize. Please hold back today during this session. And for some of you, yeah, I know. For some of you, this might be very interesting that actually also once you have established a residence, there is a very transparent and efficient, time-wise, I would say, pathway towards citizenship. So with that, maybe I may hand over to Ryan, who is a coryphée, an institution in that field when it comes to the SUV. And Ryan, please talk us through.
Yeah, thanks so very much, Philippe. Very excited to be here. Philippe and I were just together in Dubai with Slava, our CEO and founder, just a few weeks ago. Tess and I have been all over the world together. So this is more of an introduction of who we are and what we're doing. So I did work for the Canadian government. I was an investment banker, serial entrepreneur. I've helped raise over $1 billion. A number of successful exits. All of our partners have to be. So this is a great opportunity for us to be able to talk about the Canadian business path and the different paths that can do that. So next slide, please. So what and who we are is Canadian Business Consulting. So we work with Henley and Partners, the global leading firm in this space, and your, if you decide to work with us, lawyer of record v. KPMG Law. Next. One of the great things of what we're doing here is business immigration. So a lot of people are saying, well, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a dentist, I'm a teacher. Everything is business. Every single thing is business. So you can either do it via startup, which is our iconic and our main platform, Startup Visa. You can do it via business education. So that's a more difficult path, as the educational side is more difficult to do the path because a lot of people, like most programs, have misused that. Or business expansion, which is where we are going very focused on this year. So taking already what you have in whatever country you have and expanding your business to Canada. However, it is true bilateral trade. So I was a diplomat with the Canadian government doing diplomatic missions. And what we were doing was always trying to do true bilateral trade. So some of those great countries that Philippe mentioned, Pakistan, Morocco, Tunisia, you can go through the list, Bangladesh, Saudi, all of them, we do need great work, great partnership, and true bilateral trade. So you could even stay where you are and your whole family can be in Canada. We have 10 years of 100% success rate and 100% money back guarantee. Next. So again, there's three paths that we're going to be speaking about today. It's one, investing in a business, one, buying a business, or startup visa. You start right away at the permanent residency path. That is by far the easiest, most accessible path. Is just starting a brand new business. You can be a part of a business, so we can work through that, expanding your business, but all of these paths lead towards permanent residency and an optional citizenship if you want. Now, I'd like to what Philippe's saying is Canada is very transparent, very open, There's nothing cryptic. Everything's open. And even if you don't like what our government said, you have something that's called the freedom of information, where you can say, please provide all your notes and all the information as to why. So if you look at the far right here too, it's called global expansion. This is a great way where we can expand your business globally and get you here to Canada. So no matter which path you take, we have a 100% success rate, 100% money back with our great partners, and main partner in KPMG Law. Next. So top places to live. We have three of the top cities in the world: Calgary, Vancouver, Toronto, where I live. So a lot of people are saying, hey, how's the weather in Canada? It's one of the number one questions we get. We got it already this morning from Philippe. Thank you, my friend. So yes, in Vancouver, you're looking at it being, we even have a tropical rainforest there. So it can't really snow there when it's tropical rainforest. Great surfing and everything else. So you get to choose where you want to live, including staying right in Dubai, Mumbai, or Jakarta. Next. We have one of the lowest corruption levels. So this is great expanding your business. Maybe you have a very successful business in Singapore, maybe in Africa, maybe in the Middle East. But because of your passport, you might not be able to travel. You might not be able to actually be able to expand and do different work. So with that, one of the great reasons of saying is come to Canada or stay where you are and expand your business to Canada. Next. So we have the lowest rates of assault, so it's very, very safe. My wife hates me saying this. I don't even lock my car. We don't lock our house. It's just a very safe country, which is unheard of in a lot of different countries. Next. Top most attractive. So Philippe made fun of us with basketball. Thank you, my German friend. But as you can see down there, we do beat you in attracting more entrepreneurs. One of the great things about this too is top talent. We are getting a little bit better at basketball, but no, we're not known for cricket or a lot of our sports except for hockey, which we're very proud of. We want entrepreneurs, and I'm going to challenge you. We need entrepreneurs. 37% of all businesses are new immigrants. Let me say it again. 37% of all businesses are new immigrants. So we need entrepreneurs. We want it. And we don't give you temporary access. We don't give you conditional status. It's permanent residency with no condition attached to success of the business. Why? If you're a serial entrepreneur like me, we can talk about our failures, not always the successes. But from that, we learn and we grow. So if you want to build a dynamic company on a global scale, you start in Canada and then you can launch it into the US, launch it worldwide, launch it back in Mumbai, Dubai, wherever. Next. Great PR benefits. So with this, you get permanent residency front or permanent residency in about a year and a bit, okay, to a year and a half. Our universities cost 50% less than US as an international student. But as a local, as a PR, it's 1/3. And Tess has a great real life example, so I won't steal her thunder on that. You have right to free education up to the age of 18. You don't need private schools. IB World Schools, International Baccalaureate World Schools are free. Let me say that again, they're free. So that can save you 10, 25, 30, $50,000 a year per child per year with our free, excellent public school education. You can live, work anywhere, including you can stay where you are right now. You can apply for a passport in 3 short years. There's great tax business discounts. We're the envy of G7 nations and G20 of the lowest business tax worldwide. Free healthcare. Assets come in tax-free. Let me go back to healthcare. All surgeries, all treatments, all medical, every single thing is free. You may have all the money in the world, but then you need health. And then you use all the money on that health. So as you said there, one of the great things is, yes, tax estate planning or what we call first flight. You can grab the first flight to Canada, get all your medical treatment. You can grab the first flight to Canada, run your business, first flight to Canada if something happens in your home nation because you're Canadian permanent residency. All assets come in tax-free. You can buy real estate, multiple real estate. You can buy apartments or condos or whole condo complexes. Dominic, Philly Voss had a great comment. You could buy your family a condo, your son or daughter a condo, or you can buy them a future. And that's what we're talking about today. Your spouse can legally work, child tax benefits, pension plans, dual citizenship. So some of the business benefits, I'm not going to touch on this too much, but there's no double taxation, marketing and advertising. There's $4,600, 4,600 different grants of money that's available for you. There's duty free. There's geographic accessibility to over 550 seaports, thousands of airports. We have 5.5 different time zones. So we have great low to no interest tax-free loans for people. Our average client gets $200,000 to $300,000 in free money from the government, which almost pays for the whole program. Next. So we're going to talk about 3 different programs. All of them are very similar, except for one thing. The Startup Visa, we have 100% success rate the last 10 years. But if you look at the English or French requirements, it's only level 5. So folks, the more you pay, the less you have to do. So all of them, you need about $300,000 worth of settlement funds, no medical, no criminal issues. And if you don't have an idea, we help you do that. We work directly with the incubators. Slava Appel, our CEO and founder, is key at doing that. He knows how to get it. He's been doing this for over 12 years. You can wait for this program anywhere and live anywhere in the world. That's the benefit of the Startup Visa. Next. Now for the business, just go back to the next one there. I think that was just taken out. Just one before there, if you don't mind, Philippe. So the next one is actually business expansion. So the difference with the business expansion is level 7 English. Okay. So business expansion, it's level 7 English, and you do need to be in Canada that first year. Okay. So Startup Visa at level 5, one of the easiest programs to be accepted into. For business expansion, you do need level 7 English. You need to have a business and you have to be there the first year. That's the main difference with that. It's a little bit cheaper, but you need to do a bit more work. So now summary of the advantages. So there's no high net worth or high investment rate, but we can take money from anywhere. We even accept crypto. We're one of the few programs that allows that. We don't need audited statements like the US EB5 program. You don't need a net worth statement like the Quebec Investment Program. It can be an idea stage or an ongoing business, or you have no idea about business. That's okay. We'll help, we'll incubate and help you grow. You have more business ideas than you think. If you're a lawyer, doctor, dentist, or engineer, when you come to Canada, you run a business as a lawyer, doctor, dentist, and engineer. So that's what we want. That's what we need. It can be any type of business, not just IT. You don't need management experience or entrepreneur experiences. That's what we are and there to help you. It is a federal program. So you can live anywhere in Canada with full access to the United States, or even stay where you are in your home country. Or if you're working in the Middle East, you can still do that while your family's in Canada, still making that great money while you can, and Canada is your plan B or even plan C. Unlike any other program, there's no age restriction. Even if the business fails, it's a 100% success rate with how we're doing it. Permanent residency is taking about 1 year to 3 years now, depending on which program. We can go back to it on that when we explain that, and we have a private one-on-one, we can explain to you the options. But we can have you here in Canada as fast as 3 to 4 months, your kids getting in school for free on an open work permit. Again, English level 5, the lowest language, which means you can almost understand everything I'm saying, or be able to watch a movie and understand. For the business expansion program, it's level 7. So again, we'll go through that in detail with you on what's the best plan for you. It does not matter your education. Why? Bill Gates didn't finish his degree. Mark Zuckerberg didn't. You don't need to have a university degree to come to Canada to be an entrepreneur. We have high rates of approval, but with us, 100% success rate the last 10 years and 100% money back guarantee. So that's Canada in a nutshell. Back over to you guys.
Impressive, Ryan. Thank you very much. Very useful. I see that the chat is filling up, and we would like to encourage you to post your questions in the chat. If that's okay with you, we will come back to those after the presentation. We have now Tess guiding us through a little bit the world-class degree option that also Canada has to offer. We heard about the business and how to get there and how amazing it is. But Tess, please, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's lovely to be here again. Good to see you all on this call. I thought I would just start off addressing the fact that there's a lot of movement around the world, and not just in Canada, with trends. And there are a lot of headlines about countries who are sort of traditionally who were very open, closing slightly to the number of student visas that they're accepting, to study permit caps. And I just thought I'd put that out there because people will have read about this, and lots of people come to me and they're concerned about this. But I want to reassure everybody that even though we see that there is a sort of decrease in the number of students getting student visas, it's actually still a completely and utterly viable and wonderful destination. As you can see, it's got over 1 million international students. And I've put the top source countries for you to look at too. India by far and away has the most students in Canada at the moment. Canada has got 4 universities in the top 100 in the world, and it has some absolutely outstanding education, which is why it's traditionally been such a popular destination. So we are here to reassure that with the help of people who can expertly guide children and help them be those wonderful candidates for these universities, it's still a completely manageable destination, and you shouldn't be worried about what you're reading. And the second thing is that although globally for international students, the landscape is changing, there is a really interesting option for you to consider, which is what we're talking about today. Because if you become a permanent resident of Canada before your child is even applying to university, you're no longer seen as an international student. So this does not apply anymore. Next. So let's talk about this one. We're the only ones who can really assist families who are considering this wonderful combination and gift to their children of degrees combined with either passports or residencies, depending on where you come from, depending on whether or not you're allowed to have dual citizenship. So if we go to the next slide, please, Philippe, where I can safely say, yes, it is possible. Because although we know from multiple studies that if you have a degree, you are going to be earning around 50% more than students who don't have a degree, unless you're Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates. That is generally the data that comes out. However, and this is really important to know, education is not the only way and only thing that impacts opportunity, because in fact, where you are born impacts hugely the opportunity we access, because it isn't all the same. We don't have access to the same education. We don't have access to the same quality of life, career opportunities in every country around the world. So this combination of education alongside residency or citizenship programs, and in this case, the Canada Startup Visa, is hugely powerful. And I just want to go through that in more detail. Next. So let's have a look at this. I'm going to set the landscape here with fees. Now, I've put sort of the key destinations here and sort of global undergraduate fees and the differences between a domestic and international student. You can see there is a definite difference with Canada. It makes a huge difference if you are an international student or what I call a domestic student. If we go to the next slide, please. Right, I'm going to talk you through this wonderful, wonderful family that we're working with and give you a little bit of a case study to illustrate the power of what we're talking about. So the son of this family, who's about 15, is 16 now, is looking to study in Toronto. That's the destination of choice. We started talking to the family about this. He wants to do something to do with security, information security, go into AI even. That sort of area is his interest. So when I was talking to the family and to him as a whole, we were just saying, you know, what is your ambition? Do you want to stay in Canada? What are you wanting to do? And he said, yes, I want to work in Canada. I want to build a career there. And then I started talking to the parents about, okay, so the fees roughly for a 4-year degree as an international student in Canada at the University of Toronto is currently about $180,000 US. However, and this is something else I put to the parents, is that if we consider the startup visa alongside this, and as Rai said, the child does not have to be in Canada unless they decide to go to study at school there. They can have permanent residency before he even applies. And as a non-resident of Ontario, the difference is about $150,000, because the current fees, and I checked this morning, is 4,000. No, it isn't. 43,800 for a course that for an international student would cost 180,000. So there is a real difference in Canada with regards to the fees. And of course, every day, every year that the student is at university, it's counting towards getting their residency and citizenship, if that was what was chosen. And most importantly, and I say this all the time, that they would have access to the same opportunities as their Canadian counterpart, because we see this a lot. On that first slide, we see new research has come out, and international students earn about 20% less than domestic students or post-grad. So it really does make a huge difference. And if you're going to invest a lot of money in your child's education, you want to provide them with wings to thrive and flourish. And therefore, this is a great way of doing it. Next, please. Philippe mentioned this wonderful index we have that you can access on the website, our Opportunity Index. And I thought I would just sort of put clearly this family from India and Canada, and you can really see the differences. Economic mobility is enormous. There's a vast difference here, but so is the employment prospect. There's a great difference in education and earning potential. So again, it's a very easy way of comparing, well, what are the opportunities for my child if they stay in India? And if they have access to Canada, what can they then be able to access postgrad? Thank you. Next. So let's talk a little bit about us, what we do. I'm going to whiz through this at the speed of light, but I thought I'd put here our lovely advisors who work alongside me. We are global. We cover the hotspots in education from North America to Australia to New Zealand, et cetera, and we're all educators. We come from an education background. I'm a teacher by trade, 25, 30 years in international education. And we are here to assist parents and children who are wanting to go elsewhere to study than their own country and need guidance, because if you are investing money in education, you really need to invest in getting advice beforehand to make sure that the school or university your child goes to is the right one for them. Next. So why us? What makes us slightly different? First of all, our service, because we're all educators, we understand children. We ensure that what we do is totally tailored to each family. We're completely impartial, which means that we take no commissions, no financial partnerships that benefit us from any school or university. So you can be confident that we will only make decisions that impact your children and that they can thrive wherever they go. 100% success at the moment. We're data driven. We are the only ones at the moment who can work, because of our partnership and the fact that we're part of Henley, that we can actually help students graduate with a degree and residence or citizenship. And of course, we've got vast experience in the education world. Next. So if I whiz through our education, we can have sort of conversations if you're interested in this, and reach out to me in the chat to set up calls. But our key services are listed here. I'm going to start with the HAPA, which is on the next slide, please. That's our assessment. It's the start of any conversation we have with families, because it allows us through an online fully adaptive assessment to see how your child is doing in relation to other international students. And that effectively means that we're able to see how they're doing, if there are any areas of support they need. It enables us to get a really clear overview, along with all the information we gather from the school, how that child is doing and what type of schools or university will be best suited academically for them. So this is sort of a starting point, and it's followed up with a feedback session to ensure that you understand the results, and we discuss next steps. Then our core service, which is on the next slide, is really about assisting families who are looking for wraparound bespoke services with regards to admissions for schools and universities. And to cut a very long story short, we're basically here for you from A to Z. You start off with a meeting with me, you meet with the counsellor who will assist you, and then we're there for you every step of the way. Next slide, please. And then finally, last from me is this, because of the type of services we deliver and the many different families and requests we have an ever-growing number of additional services that we can offer students and parents, ranging from IELTS tutoring to university tours to assistance with summer programs and homeschooling and mentoring and coaching, etc. So if you have questions about this, please reach out to us. But I think now would be a perfect time to go over to the Q&A. Thank you.
Yeah, Tess, I want to go through the one thing, Philippe, that we very data driven in the numbers. So I wanted to heighten just for some of the number people, for the engineers, the accountants in the room. Tess, you mentioned quite clearly that out of India are many unfortunate nations, that when they go to apply for the same job in Dubai, they make 20% of the money. So that's where normally with our program, every 4 years, it pays for itself when you're working. In private school, per child, every 10 years, it pays for itself, private school. So if you got 2 children, it's 5 years, 3 children, 2.5 years, it pays for itself, or it doubles every 2.5 years. So we can go through all those specific numbers of how it makes sense for you and your family to break it down a bit later on. I just wanted to cover that in the financial side. And about the program ranges between 250,000 US to 300,000 US, depending on which program you take. The Quebec Investment Program is 1.2 million. So, we're looking at the 250,000 US to 300,000 US plus legal with KPMG law, just because that was not fully covered there. And Philippe, back to you for Q&A, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Tess, and also thanks to the audience engaging in the chat. I'm going to dive into that in a few seconds, but from what I took out here, bottom line is that Canada is open for business. It provides incredible, powerful ecosystems for entrepreneurs, existing business leaders to go over, make an impact. Not too complicated, if I understand from your side, Ryan. It's a transparent and efficient process. But most importantly, for the family, they walk out with a set of benefits, which is number one, PR in Canada, fantastic. The right to apply for citizenship after a very short time. And as Tess has highlighted, there are certain ways where you can even get a world-class education at a very little cost compared to other structures on how your estate or your family situation would be, right? So I think that's a wonderful proposition. Sign me up. But let's as a courtesy, let's dive into the chat box a little bit and see what we have. So one question maybe that goes towards you, Ryan. I'm 50 years old. What are the chances it will be easy for me? And also, and if I don't have so many funds, are there maybe some other options to do, or would it require investments?
Sure. So first, let's talk about the age. Age is not a requirement in this program. The age does not matter. However, funding does matter, right? You got to pay to play in this kind of space. If you are 50 and just trying to go into the express pool, you're not going to be able to do it because your age, background, it's not going to happen. But if you come in via business, okay, that's how we can get you into the top and in right away. However, uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters can sponsor you. It's one of the only few programs where someone's able to sponsor you or money can come from somewhere else in order for you to come to Canada. So we can talk about that offline, or you can form your own group, your own partnership, be able to do that as well. Okay.
Yeah, excellent. And the contact details of all of us are here on the screen. I hope you can see it. And again, audience, feel free to reach out to us if you have any further questions. Can we have a one-on-one discussion with our education expert? Yeah. So please, yes, reach out directly. Then another question is, so I think, Ryan, you touched on that. Do I need to be an existing business owner? Is that a qualification? Or, maybe I've been a very successful corporate executive, but I still want to now enter into a new chapter in life and maybe become entrepreneurial. Is that something that, Canada could accommodate for?
Actually, some of our best entrepreneur ideas have come from housewives or welders or blue collar. So actually the best ideas have been formed out of a garage, backyard, downstairs. You do not need to be a serial entrepreneur. You don't even need to be an entrepreneur. You could be a lawyer, doctor, dentist. Because normally when you get higher up in your actual business, you're actually more managing businesses. So that's what we're looking at. So again, the key focus in all this, I want you to understand business. We can bring you in by the education route, but to then do business. We can bring in via new business to do business or business to do business. If you know what I mean, it's business. Okay. For your whole family, including staying where you are, doing your own business where you are right now.
Another question from Haseb. IELTS a mandatory requirement for a person having 20 years plus of entrepreneurial, doing experience? Is that
it is, but it's very easy. But not just IELTS. There's CLB, so the Canadian Language Benchmark, or the Pearson test. The Pearson test comes out of Australia. It's one of the easiest tests to do and take. It's very applicable. A lot of great things come out of Australia. So that's a great way to do that. And level 5 is so basic and so easy. You shouldn't worry. If you understood most of this, you can pass the test and get in.
Excellent. 2 more questions to you, Ryan. You're in high demand. I'm very, very happy about that. Again, age limit, I think we discussed this, but tell us maybe again about the fund bandwidth, maybe on the business and on the SUV option. Maybe that has become a bit short of the presentation. One of the audience is asking. How much funds do I need?
There's 3 different prices. Okay, so the Quebec investment program or the investment programs are 1.2 million. Okay. That's similar to Malta. That's similar to a lot of the international ones, 1.2 million. That one, everything's taken care of for you. On the business side, we're talking about 300,000 US to 250,000 US, depending on which program, the business expansion or the startup visa. Now, again, some people are saying, I don't have that. Well, there's a way you can do that by getting someone to sponsor you, family or friends to as well. But yes, this is a way you've got to pay to get in to do that. For the entrepreneurial side, it is a sunk cost, but we show you how you will make that back 2 or 3 times. Let me say it again. We'll show you how you can double or triple your money by that investment, by saving on education, as Tess mentioned, by doubling or tripling your income every single year, by getting grants or loans. Our average client gets $200,000 to $300,000 for grants or loans. So there's many different ways. If you do have the interest, you do have the will, we'll help you find a way with our great person.
Okay, excellent. One comment, and then I would like to just respond to that. It seems it's just made for Indians now. Of course not. What Tess has been doing, just using a few case studies. I encourage you to again reach out to us. We can be very bespoke and very customized in our analysis of whether these options would even work for you. Maybe there's something else around the world that might create higher value. So don't think we just apply this now on our Indian clients. It's actually a global discussion that we have around the world. I think that's a question, Ryan, that you probably have every single day. Can a startup visa and PR be done in a way that the main applicant and the family stay outside Canada with travel to Canada when only required?
Yes. Yeah. And then Dominic always asks me to expand more on that. So yes, and I'll tell you why. Where's the #1 place in the world for manufacturing still? China. So why would you do manufacturing if you can do it in China? You got great relations in China. We set you up with a Canadian business doing manufacturing in China. If you have a great access, great connection in the Middle East, why would you not be out of Dubai, where Philippe and the team are? And I want to mention on that too, Philippe. You say to contact us, but you can also contact any of your client advisors. These client advisors are experts on all the different sides. They're local. They can do that. But the great thing about this too is they have access to us, the experts. Okay. We like to work in a team approach. Same thing with the team approach of we may need you for that Canadian business to stay in Dubai, to stay in Mumbai, to stay in Doha, to stay in wherever you are. So we create a Canadian business based on you never maybe needing to leave. Now, let me take one more step back though. If you plan to never come to Canada ever, this is not the program for you. So the spirit of the program is to have Canadian business and to have ties to Canada. But say your son or daughter is going to be going to university in 5 years. Great, no problem. Done. Say you've got to plan a 10-year exit from where you are and your family might start going in 5, 6, 7 years. Great. If you say, I never want to come to Canada, I want to stay where I am, I never want to go there, then this is not for you. Please speak to Philippe and your client advisors with other options. The spirit of this is to have roots in Canada, to build in Canada, but yes, you can stay, and your time abroad counts as your time in Canada if you're doing business and structured properly through Canadian business. Now, before I forget, Philippe, I don't want to steal your analogy, but if you remember, we were sitting at your polo club and you said, what is Henley good for is when you're going up Everest. Do you want to finish the story, or do you want me to do it, my friend? I don't want to steal your thunder.
Ryan, the stage is yours. The stage is yours.
You did so well, so I got to give him credit. Dominic said, you can buy your family a condo or buy them a future that keeps on paying dividends forever. So Dominic, Volk's amazing at that. But Philippe said, why use Henley, the largest immigration firm in the world? 25,000 clients, global presence all over the world. Is when you're at Everest, people can climb almost any mountain. It's when things go wrong, they've got a team of experts, and we've done it. Things have gone wrong, right, Tesh, Philippe, and us? Things have gone wrong. We are the experts that help you get down the mountain. We know how to call in the helicopter, literally. Philippe and I have a background. We know how to call in helicopters and do that. We are there to help you get off the mountain with you and your family safely and efficiently with no harm done. That is what we're here for, and that is what these team of experts have. Your client advisor is there to help you locally, but you have experts all over the world that are there to help you. If something goes wrong on Everest, something goes wrong, something happened, you fail to disclose something, we are there to help you with our 100% success rate, 100% money back with this great team right here.
Excellent. Rui, question, how do we get in touch with Ryan or Tess? You can see our contact details on the slide there. Don't be shy, just reach out. Another question, I think very practical question, Ryan. Will my children, and we talked about that, and I think it's important to just underline that because it's a super stark benefit, right? Will my children get free education and health benefits the time I get PR or the time I land in Canada?
Yeah, so the answer is there's even some ways on open work permit they can start getting a free education. There's a way we structure it properly, but yes, you, your spouse, and all kids under 22 all get permanent residency. Now, the great thing is this. If you decide, say we're Philippe's older than me, so Philip's the dad, Tess is the mom, and they stay in their respective countries, and I'm the kid that gets to go to university, okay? Philippe never leaves Dubai. Tess is more my sister. Sorry, Tess, I called you my mom, so sorry about that. But sorry about that.
All right.
Tess is here, okay? And we stay full permanent residency. So once your kids are there, their program and everything and their timeline is separate from everyone. But the answer simply is this. Yes, all free healthcare, all surgeries, all treatment. Even Philippe, who stays in Dubai the whole time working in the Canadian business, if he gets sick, come back for cancer treatment, God forbid, kidney dialysis, or say there's the flood of the century, where I was there with him for the flood of the century. If they're evacuating Dubai, all Canadian passport holders, citizens, and permanent residents can leave. So you have the same rights as a citizen holder, as a permanent residency holder, all the same rights to be evacuated if something happens. This is the best plan for all education, all healthcare, all grants. The only thing different is you can't vote and you don't have the passport. For that, you apply in 3 short years after. Everything else is the exact same.
Excellent, excellent. We question in the chat, of course, we do not charge for consultation. Please reach out. We would like you to, have all the information that matters, and we are proud to give information for free and the best-in-class benchmarking expertise that we can bring to the table. So, of course, we don't charge. We only charge when we can really make a genuine difference to your life, and that is the result out of one-on-one conversations where we discuss, what are your requirements, what's your situation, what are your objectives, and the expert team comes together, and then we prepare a bit of a, call it strategy, and only then, if you would like to proceed, then you engage the firm and we get our hands into the work mode. So please don't be shy. We're not charging for any consultation. Great question from Ethiopia. What are the minimum requirements to buy a business getting in PR in Canada? I think Ryan, you touched base on that, but Samuel, please reach out again. Have a word with Ryan or me, and we can dive there more into details. Another question, what is the minimum investment option here or for this program? I think we talked about that. How do I contact for more information and discussion? I think maybe I need to say that a bit more clear. Exactly. Our contact details are there. Great question here. As for the funds for the business partnerships, how much would it be, Ryan? Just maybe reiterate on that again.
So the funds are, again, it's always the same thing. It's around $300,000 US to 250,000 US. On the investment path, you're looking at 1.2 million. So again, we can look at which one's the best right for you. On the Quebec side, it's got to be French. We do have another business entrepreneurial path that can do similar to like a REIT. So there's lots of different things that we can talk about to you. But in essence, the core part in almost all programs now, whether it's Caribbean all over the world, you're looking at about $250,000 US for all programs now, to $1 million for the premium ones. So it's the same thing in Canada. The great thing about Canada, and since we're getting a lot of the same questions again, I'll say it again. It does not matter the age. It does not matter your background. As long as you have no medical issues, major medical issues like cancer or communicable diseases, no criminal record that you're not appealing, and if you have around $250,000 to $300,000, we want to serve to you. Now, also, say this video is later sent to you by one of the client advisors, talk to them. They know all the different programs. And maybe, and I don't mind saying this because we're so pro Canada, but maybe one of the other countries is better suited for you. That's why it's great working with Henley, because they can pivot there. Or maybe it's a blend. A lot of people love getting a passport right away, but guess where they always end up in the end? Back to Canada. So great. Do what's best for you and your family.
I was going to say, and that's a really good point, actually, because we, on the education side, we regularly work with families whose children aren't actually completely focused on one country. So, they may be applying to Canada, US, Europe, and we can assist them doing all at the same time with the relevant programs.
So two more questions maybe from the chat that we haven't touched base on yet. That's a great case study here and a reason to make a daughter become, Canadian citizen via the routes that have been presented. And the question is, if my daughter is Canadian citizen, how easy can I, maybe I assume being the parent, start the process of obtaining a PR, right?
Yeah, so it actually doesn't matter. So we get that question a lot. It really doesn't matter. Some people say my uncle's there, my brother's there. We look at the individual. So again, it'd be on a point-based system on age, education, and it's a lottery. So a lottery is just like it sounds. Like the Powerball is like hundreds of millions of dollars in the state. The chances of you getting it is very rare. In our program, it doesn't matter if you have no family there or all your family there. It's based on, do you have a business? Do you have the funds? English level 5 or 7, depending on the program. No medical, no criminal issues. That's it. Now, if you notice, I didn't say I have a business. I didn't say I have a background. It does not matter. Those 4 things matter. And one other main thing, a trusted referral. Because we only work on trusted referrals because they have offices. How many offices do you have now, Philippe, all over the world?
I think it's 62. Yeah, 62.
62, yeah.
A lot.
We use KPMG Law. KPMG Law allows us to use a logo, Henley as well, because of who we are. We don't mess around with this. This is you going up Everest, and if something happens, we've got the team that helped you get there.
Excellent. Really appreciate that, Ryan. Let me see whether maybe, one more question. I think we answered most of them. Maybe 2 regarding the funds, is it guaranteed after it's paid? I think we touched base on that. It's, Canada is maybe one of the leading countries when it comes to the rule of law, and enforcement of such. So I think, there's no concern thinking that people are just running away with the money. Will I get some returns from the investment?
Though, yes, please, Ryan. You have a legal background, but a lot of people don't know that. So we have what's called errors and omissions insurance. So up to $2 million per client. Henley and Partners, the global-wide firm, holds us accountable. KPMG, everyone knows them by tax or accounting. Global-wide firm that's holding us accountable as well. And we hold them accountable. We hold Henley accountable. They all hold us accountable. So yes, 100% money back, 100% guaranteed the last 10 years. Because things have gone wrong, we know how to fix and change it. So, and again, I also want to go back to this. You don't make it seem like it actually is like you're going to have to climb Everest. It's not. Right? It can be a walk in the park. We make it easy. Why? We've done thousands and thousands of cases. We do hundreds a year. So a lot of people say, Philippe, you might say this too and Tess too, well, I'm different because of this. Okay, but we've dealt with hundreds of clients from that area. Yes, you're all unique, but follow our platform, follow our guide, follow our system, 100% success rate, 100% money back the last 10 years.
One specific question here again, Pakistan, a very interesting market with, huge interest in Canada for both, such as business creation, business value creation, as well as education. So the question is, will I get the PR straight away, or do I need to wait 3 years to get PR? And basically, when can I land in Canada from Pakistan? And I think, Ryan, you maybe have some clear examples on that. Would you like to share that?
We did show that, but yeah, great reminder of that. I think we echoed a lot of things, maybe that one again. So thank you for that great question. So we could have you here in Canada on an open work permit, whether you want to come to Canada or not, but you can, kids can have free education in about 4 to 6 months. Okay. So to be safe, around 6 months from Pakistan. On some paths, 6 to 8 months. So you can be in Canada as fast as 6 to 8 months. For permanent residency, you're looking around 2 years right now from Pakistan. Some countries, it's 1 year. Some countries, it's about 2 years to 2.5 years. It all depends where you are. When we do that customized analysis, we'll give you the exact quote in writing, backed by Henley & Partners, KPMG Law, all the great firms. Customized quote, customized timeline for you and the family. Okay, now, for Pakistan, we love it. We love people from Iran, Iraq, Russia. We have no issues with any country. We have some issues with certain people that might be on a certain list. But it does not matter where you're from. Canada is so open because we're made of immigrants. And as Philippe mentioned earlier, our government and our mandate has always been, we need to grow, we need to expand. We're the second largest country by land mass, but we only just hit 40 million people strong.
Yeah, it's actually mind-blowing if you think about it. So there are no more questions in the chat. I think I highlighted enough about the contact details where to find us. Canada, still is an incredibly powerful brand, a very safe jurisdiction. With that landmass, it's actually maybe one of the safest countries in the world. And there are amazing benefits that people can have when it comes to healthcare, education, business opportunities, prosperity, family safety. So I'm very grateful for you both joining today. One last question. Do I need to visit Dubai to apply? No, of course not. The first thing you have to do is reach out to us. Let's have a conversation. Let's make sure everything is very clearly understood. But you don't have to travel to Dubai to commence the process for such.
Or not even Canada. You could do all the applications, everything from where you are, right to computer screen. Everything can be done digitally. Everything can be done remotely. You can get your permanent residency before you even set foot in Canada.
Yeah. So, and yes, please, Tess, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say one more thing from me, which I completely forgot to say, is that, obviously everyone here is considering the startup visa, but if you're talking to others or if you end up finding that it's not exactly what you're wanting to do, we are actually standalone. So we do work with clients who don't do programs with Henley & Partners, but obviously we specialize in working as a team all together for those who do want to do programs and education.
I thought I can let you go, Ryan, to your hockey practice, but it was a wish too soon. Another question here, the returns, and I think that's a very important question, just to make sure everybody understands this. The returns on the investments in SUV businesses. Maybe you can, share a little bit of information on that, please.
Sure. So I'll do all three businesses. Okay. So the Quebec investment program, there's not a return. On the investment business side, it really depends on what you do. Okay. But normally we show you how to get $200,000 to $300,000 in grants or loans. So it doubles your money. Okay. But most of it, it's your savings in your kids' education. It's your savings in tax. It's your getting grants and loans. So we can talk to that one-on-one, but it's a sunk cost and fee. But if we can't show you how to double your money in savings or triple it, we normally make sure that's very clear and say, maybe you want to look at another option. So normally on a whole, we save you as a family about double or triple the money, or in your future income potential, or with grants or loans.
It's a great way to look at it. So we learned a lot today. Yes, the webinar session will be shared. Will maybe take us a couple of days, but then the link will be circulated. Feel free to review it. Feel free to double check the fun facts that have been posted. Superman was co-created by a Canadian. Certainly it wasn't Ryan. Tess, thank you very much for your support here as well. I think the education piece is super fascinating. And again, folks, please reach out to us. Don't be shy. We're here to support. It's a complex matter, but very important. And there are amazing opportunities ahead in the great country of Canada. I'm actually now booking a private consultation with Ryan just after this webinar. With that, I conclude, and I wish you all a very lovely rest of the day. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.